Good evening. Now, it has been a while, of course, a lot has happened. My last video being over 3 months ago, I think. The main problem is I don't have anything to talk about. I know someone beforehand said that I should talk about politics, but I don't want to talk about politics only. I like the commentary format that I developed on TikTok, and I want to transition that to YouTube. But now I have a topic. I don't know if this has been going on in your For You pages lately, but there's this person who keeps popping up, and his name is Gypsy Crusader. I used to think that he was an Omegle person who pranks people with cosplays, and honestly, can you really blame me? What else was I supposed to think? I see a fucking clown on my For You page trolling people on Omegle. But there's so much more depth to this guy. So for the past while, I've been doing my own little research on him. I've been visiting his personal websites, his, stuff like that. And where he posts his streams, uncensored by the way. And let me just say this right now. Do I support what this guy does? Of course not. But I think because of what happened as of recently with the whole BLM, Antifa, and cancel culture mess going on, I think it's pretty important to talk about. I'm going to cover a couple things in this video, like his past, his present, cancel culture, and etc. And none of this is going to be supporting him. I'm a minority, Puerto Rican to be exact, so he hates me without a doubt. But I'm still going to keep going with talking about this. So his original YouTube video, or YouTube channel, was terminated, so I'll have to go off his Telegram, fan re-uploads, news, etc. Gypsy Crusader's real name is Paul Miller. He was, maybe still is, an investigative journalist. He classifies himself as an investigative journalist on his Telegram, but I don't know. How this all started was in an event in New York City at a Met Republican Club. As a journalist, he went to cover the area and hang out with some friends. When he tries to get in, the tickets were sold out. He didn't mind, but after a bit, he got into a fight with a leader/shot caller of an Antifa group. I doubt it's like the main Antifa leader. I don't even think they have a leader per se, but like it's probably like one of those guys who are like, yeah, let's get him, kind of shock. Anyway, this all started because he was recording a video of Antifa in a crowd outside, and apparently Antifa was causing a bit of a ruckus. Knowing Antifa, they probably were. He was taking a video of everything, and the Antifa leader, who he got into a fight with before, confronted him and told him to watch where he was going, and knocked the camera out of his hand. One thing led to another. They got into a physical fight. The cops saw what was going on and broke up the fight. After the cops broke up the fight, he decided to go home. Him and his friend, which is a girl, started to go home, and they see a guy who he fought with walking down the street towards him with 5 other Antifa members. He then tells his friend to leave. I swear to God, this is like from a movie kind of thing. He tells his friend to leave because he told her, hey, they're going to try to kill us, so you have to go. Then suddenly more people start to show up. They circle around him, as he says, and according to him, they try to grab her, but he blocked it and commanded her to run. Then she decides to take off. After a while of fighting, she comes back with the police, and the police broke up the fight again. He tried to press charges on the people. There were statements from 4 witnesses, the 2 people who joined in on the fight, the taxi driver who saw everything, and himself. He gave them pictures and videos, like he claims, and they did not press charges like he wanted to. The district attorney let them go. Understandably, he would be kind of pissed off by it, but he kind of like shrugged it off when he was talking about it. But then after a while, the doxing happened. Now, the only thing I could find about the doxing in the short amount of time was a Twitter page called New York Year Zero, who uploaded a video of him and called him a Proud Boy. If you don't know what a Proud Boy is, it's a white supremacist or neo-Nazi group. But yeah, he was called a Proud Boy and leaked the gym that he worked at with like training and stuff like that, and his Facebook page. which is now deleted. I tried, it's all deleted. He gets Qurans sent to his house. The gas station he was working at fired him because they kept getting reports of him being a Nazi. Then the Black Lives Matter happened. He then posted Black Lives Matter do not have a right to protest because they're fucking communists trying to destroy the country by hiding behind the First Amendment on Instagram. The Black Lives Matter protesters found the post. It went viral. They went to they found his mom's work and phone number. They called her phone saying that they were going to kill her and burn her house down and that she's a racist. They go to her house and start screaming at her. They demand that she says Black Lives Matter. She refuses, but she claims she's a spirit. She refuses because she claims she's a spiritualist and believes all lives matter through Jesus. After all this happened, people started harassing his trainer in self-defense until he was forced to tell him he couldn't come back to the gym anymore. They ruined his name in the fighting community, and after all that, he then became who he became. People have been saying that he has been exposed for always being a racist even before the transition, but this isn't true. From what I could find, he was a Republican journalist. He was one of those people who would walk around in public with a camera, kind of shoving it in people's faces. I honestly, thinking back, I don't think it was shoving it into people's faces. It was just kind of like filming people without their consent and like interrogating people. He would shout conspiracy theories like CNN being against the American people, human trafficking, and the banning of Republican accounts and opinions throughout the internet. So was he radical? Absolutely, but he was not by all means a racist. So can people please stop saying that stupid shit. He became a radical racist after the transition. Was he a normal person? By definition, kinda, but he was still radical in the right meaning. He was at most Republican, not like a neo-Nazi, you know? But you know what? When it comes to being out in public with a camera interrogating people, he was a right-leaning journalist. I honestly am not really that surprised. I've seen people doing that all the time on TikTok, so it's by definition kind of normal. What he does now is he streams on a site called bitwave.tv, which is kind of like a Twitch, but not. It's a bit weird. There's a whole bunch of right-leaning neo-Nazis there. It's kind of like the 4chan of Twitch per se. He mainly posts on his Telegram because his Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram have all been deleted. And like I said, he's a radical right-leaning activist. He hasn't taken a life from what I know, so I wouldn't consider him the next Joker as people claim. He just dresses up as a Joker. Maybe because, like, to emphasize the point of, like, you're just one bad day away from me. He does show remorse from what he does, at least I think so. He said that he didn't want this to happen, but he feels like he had to because no one else was going to do it. Yeah, he feels like he has to do this. He's also described to people who doesn't know what he knows as retarded. He was led to believe this lifestyle and belief was the truth, like the absolute truth. I have argued on my TikTok primarily with alt-left wingers who believe white people should die, but this right here proves that the alt-right and alt-left are both still around. They're both still around. They're still just as bad, and they're two sides of the same coin in constant battle with each other. So, what have we learned? Well, we learned that this was kind of a normal guy, but due to Antifa and BLM and cancel culture, he became who he became. Now, people can make the excuse that BLM didn't play that big of a part, but BLM did call his mom, threaten her, and all that shit. Maybe not the entire movement, you know, but the radical BLMs. Can we be adults and acknowledge that? Please, holy shit. But because of cancel culture, he lost everything and he just kind of snapped. And before you say anything, no, I do not advocate what the guy does. Despite the fact me saying that he was technically normal, I could explain the Holocaust, but I don't have to want the Jews to die. I really hope people can understand that. I can explain something doesn't mean I support him. But I also don't support cancel culture. That's kind of like the main point of this video. You can say whatever you want about what I'm telling you, but the fact remains true that if cancel culture didn't exist, he would not have become what he became. So don't think cancel culture, BLM, or even Antifa had nothing to do with this transition, because everything has a reason. There's always a cause to the effect. Okay? Well, there's always an effect to the cause. Whatever. I absolutely hate it when people say that there's no reason for something to happen. There's plenty of reasons why things happen. If there was no reason for something to happen, it wouldn't have happened. But yet it happened. So why can't... I don't understand what's the point in just saying there's no reason for things to happen. It's all over TikTok, all over social media. There's no reason for this to happen. Yet, dumbass, it happened. So there has to be a reason. Maybe you should actually dissect the situation rather than just jump into conclusions. Listen, this isn't a movie. Terms such as good, bad, evil, and good are all suggestive terms and can only be defined through life experience. If this proves anything about cancel culture, it doesn't eliminate racism or ignorance. It helps us grow and stronger. Through culture, you give people reasons to hate you and to hope for your downfall. Again, I don't support the fucking guy, but I also don't support cancel culture. Now, here are my final thoughts. Black Lives Matter is not the problem. Antifa is not the problem. Gypsy Crusader, believe it or not, is not the problem. It's cancel culture. I say that because you can't necessarily blame Black Lives Matter or Antifa for using cancel culture, because people do it all the damn time. There's so many more people contributing to cancel culture. How many communities? So goddamn much. The main problem is cancel culture. To try to go after Gypsy Crusader is like going after the symptoms rather than the illness. Because if you even manage to get rid of Gypsy Crusader, there's probably 100 more Gypsy Crusaders out there who are affected by cancel culture and want to do the same thing he does. Cancel culture, no matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, or anything, all it does is promote more hate. And listen, I didn't start my TikTok account to advocate against Black Lives Matter. That was never the plan, and I'm not against Black Lives Matter. I was against the riots, and I was all for keeping the peace. I want to promote unity and the ability to think and speak for yourself. If you support what this guy does, fucking don't. I can assure you, what this guy says or does is not a meme, is not a joke, and I hope you guys can understand the very big difference between dark humor and flat-out bigotry. Both may piss you off, but only one of them wants you to die. Know the difference between Nick Foster and Gypsy Crusader. Nick Foster has never said the N-word, but Gypsy Crusader not only uses it, but attempts to use it in a derogatory way to degrade people. Know the difference. There's a difference between trolling and genuinely wanting you to die. All my sources are in the description. Enjoy the rest of your night and day.